So I've got these three old GPUs here, and my buddy Felipe sent me this picture that he found, I think on Instagram or something. It's a really cool idea where someone had broken down all the components of their GPU and framed it. So I'm going to attempt to do that same thing here. I'm not sure if all three of them are going to fit, but I'm going to kind of break them down, tear them apart, and just kind of start placing pieces in places and see what works, and hopefully it'll come out pretty cool. The point of this, other than the fact that I saw the idea and thought it was really cool, is to kind of fill out some of the space, this empty wall over here. Typically when I'm streaming, that's kind of like the main focal point of the camera, and it's pretty bare, it's pretty empty. So I figure with the sort of channel I run here, might be a pretty neat idea. This is one of my favorite cards. This was the GTX 970, and I bought it right when it launched. Actually, I think the day it launched, I was working at Fry's Electronics. If anyone remembers that, that store. But yeah, Fry's Electronics. It was a really cool job. It was retail, so you know it was as cool as retail gets. But yeah, I bought this when it launched, and I love this card. For the time, it was a really good deal, and you get decent performance for the money you spent. So very unlike the way things are going now. But this one's a must. I got to get this one on here. 3 GPUs over there, and I'd like to get all 3 of them on here because I have 2 NVIDIA cards and 1 AMD card, so I'd like to at least get AMD on there. Oh, this if you guys had seen my my recent video where I broke down my 7900 XTX to do repaste and do some thermal putty, I was saying how I always use KPX. I've been using KPX for a long time, and that's proof there. You can tell by the blue coloring of the thermal paste. I've been using that stuff for a while. I made sure off camera to actually select the right bit this time. I cut it out of the last video so nobody saw the embarrassing struggle, but I picked like 4 different Phillips head sizes before I found the right one. I had done the same mod on this card. I've done the repaste and thermal putty mod on all of my graphics cards. It's hard to say. Since this one, I did on this one, and then I did it on my 2080, which is still running, my wife's computer, and I did it on my recent card. I did a really good job on this one, but that was easy. I wonder what putty I used on this one. I'm not going to use this again. I'm not even sure if this still works. So if this does still work, I don't know if that's super cringe for people out there shopping for graphics cards right now. Like, what? This guy's got 3, and he's just tearing them apart? To be fair, these two, I know for sure the old Radeon 7850 that I have back there is definitely dead. I've baked it in the oven like 2 times and revived it, and now it's just dead, completely dead. And nobody wants that card anyways, or this GTX 580. But yeah, this 970, I don't know if it still works or not, but maybe if you want to run like a little media center that you put like RetroArch on or something like that, just run emulated games. Could be good for that, but nope, artwork. like that. I don't think I'm fitting all 3 of these graphics cards. I might fit 2. All right. Dang. So the good news is it looks like everything else will clear. Maybe not. Yeah, I am gonna have to take those off. I'll just hit it with some heat. Hit it with my heat gun. Probably do that off camera, go into the garage. Blast that with some heat and come back. But I don't know if this cooling shroud is gonna fit in there either. So what I might do actually, I might just take this glass off. It doesn't really need to be behind glass. I'm really just using the frame to hang it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna take the glass off, and then that solves like all of my problems. All right, so that was a little easier than expected. So off screen, what I did is I took these little pieces out, and you can see they were just kind of like tacked in there along the side here, and then just tacked in. That's what was holding in the glass. So I used the I/O bracket off of the old 970 to kind of pry them off, it took little to no pressure at all. I don't think I'm gonna need these. I think what I'm gonna do is just glue around the edges of this board, and so it'll stick to the edges on the inside of the frame here. But I'm gonna keep them just in case I need them, and I'm going to carefully dispose of this elsewhere off camera. I'll be back. gonna be so funny when I'm sitting in a work meeting and one of these just falls off the frame. No! To work so fast with this stuff. Ow, hot glue. Not comfortable. Spider-Man. That's what he says, right? Every time he goes and shoots a web, he says his own name. Or if he says his own name, will you say Spider-Man? Or will you say Peter Parker? Peter Parker. I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is put some glue on the edges here. The hard part is going to be the glue cooling down too fast. And then I'll probably throw some glue on the back end too to hold it all in there, but I'm using the weight of the GPUs to kind of pull the backboard down onto the frame so it can mush into the glue. And I guess I'm just kind of stuck holding this here for a minute or two while it cools down.
A few moments later.
That's long enough. Yeah, now we'll just throw some glue on the back end here. That should do it. So we'll let this cool down, and then I'll start fitting it to the wall. I have the computer on here, not just for a backsplash, but because I'm going to use OBS and turn on my camera like I normally would if I were streaming, and kind of see the best place to place it on the wall where everybody can seize it. Cool. All right, well, I'm gonna cut, let this cool down, and start putting it in frame. And once it's done, I'll show everyone the finished product. So it turns out that I am going to reuse these pieces, although it did feel plenty sturdy with just the glue alone. I don't think it'll hurt to have a little bit of extra in there to hold it in place. I'm just taking Taking these, placing along the edges. I'll flip this around. Ow, that hot glue gun is still on, and it's still hot. Just taking these, taking the tacks. They point down slightly, so just kind of line it up and just press the tacks back in. Trying to get it up against this backing as much as I can, but because the glue, like here, it's pushing down up against the glue, which is pushing up against the board, which is fine. I, again, think it was pretty secure with just the glue alone, but this is here just for a little extra, just in case. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I'll have to clean this up a little bit more, get all this hot glue, spider web everywhere, which is fun. But yeah, that I don't know if that's in frame all the way. I'm trying not to bonk my monitor, but that's the That's the finished product. I feel like a proud kid. This is my 4th grade science project. Maybe use that for the thumbnail. I'm gonna give it one of these. Give it one of those. One of these. I don't know. We'll choose from one of them. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. All right.